let's change gears a little bit. So Phil, how does the Lightning look this year in your modest view?
They played very, very well at preseason, which sometimes that bothers me. You play so well in preseason, you think it's easy, and they played very well. Bishop was terrific the other night. This Kucherov, this kid has got an eye for the net. He finds openings, and he had 6 goals in 6 preseason games. So, he's playing on a second, third line. The defense was better. I think the Lightning are going to be fine. I think they'll make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I really believe they will. But, I don't know whether they stack up in the elite with the Bruins. I just don't. So we'll wait and see.
Phil, they have done a nice job of rebuilding.
Yes, sir.
Yzerman, give them credit.
Yes.
And they've got, in my estimation, the best coach in the game.
Yes.
The goalie seems to be just as good as he was last year, and they've got Nabokov as a backup. I pick the Tampa Bay Lightning to be among a group of 4 that are dead nuts certain to make the playoffs, and that includes Boston, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and maybe Montreal. After that, it's a dogfight for the other 4 spots.
As long as Stamkos stays healthy, he is arguably one of the top 2 or 3 players in the game, and that's the difference right there, along with the goaltending and the stud defenseman that we talked about last week.
I couldn't agree more except for this. Last year he missed 45 games, and the Lightning still ended up second.
And that's okay. So
I think the biggest asset they have is what Phil said, Bishop. Bishop's playing great, and he's going to be the foundation, the fundamental foundation for any success that team has, or any chance that team has to go to the playoffs.
Any team in this league nowadays better have that goaltending, and if you don't, you're finished. And I can tell you this: what Stevie Yzerman has done is really got a lot of depth in the organization in 3 years. The goaltending situation, you've got Bishop, Nabokov's backup, you've got that Vasilevsky, the Russian kid, he's really good. And then just the kid that played in Latvia, I wish I could pronounce his name. He's the one that stopped 60 shots in a 1-0 loss to Canada.
The goalie,
Olympics, the goaltender, Gus Delaris or something.
you can call it up there, right?
And I'm going to tell you what, that is absolutely, you think about depth in goal, you've got it. And that's the one thing that I'm really, really surprised. And Stroman's been very good. Harrison's been good. They've got 8 defensemen they're going to keep. And so it's going to be an interesting time. I think they'll score. They always seem to score. It's whether they can keep the puck out of the net. In 6 games, they only allowed 6 goals against, which is really something for this team.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, how's Garrison?
He played okay. I only saw him play 1 preseason game. He only played 2. He played 1 on the road and he played 1 at home. And they dressed the 7 defensemen that night. So they all just got, Hedman got the most ice time at 19 minutes. The rest were around 12 and 13 minutes, So
he can hit the
fine. He was a plus.
Play him on the point in the power play. He scored 20 in Florida,
right?
And he got stuck with Tortorella last year.
Yeah, and you know what? He never played on the power play here. He never played in the 2 games. He didn't play on the power play because they used Hedman, and then, believe it or not, Stroman scored 3 goals in 4 games. Stroman, he scored 2 last year, a whole year.
He's an ex-Leaf.
I was shocked that the guy, he's a pretty good player. I didn't think he was that good.
Anton Strawman, they're all ex-Leafs.
Yeah, Anton Strawman was traded to Calgary by Brian Burke.
That's right. Hey, Phil, I guess Drouin's out with a thumb injury. Is he close to coming back?
He got hurt falling down. I mean, basically, he slipped on the ice and lost an edge and put his hand down and fractured his thumb.
Jeez.
I mean, there's a decision. They still have to have one guy be sent down. But Brendan Morrow has got bad back, so he's on IR, so they can keep that extra guy. And I don't know who it's going to be. Drouin's on IR. And when Drouin comes back, they can send them to the minors for, I think, 3 or 4 games for game shape.
Yeah.
and then they can keep him here or then send him back to junior. So it's going to be an interesting thing with Duran. You know, he hasn't played.